girls and boys, welcome to another episode of your daily show, Fairy Tales. You know, a tale is not a tale until it's told by a fairy. So how about you join me on a new tale on Fairy Tales. Today's story is called Dick Whittington and His Cat. Once upon a time, there was a poor boy named Dick Whittington. Dick's parents had died when he was very young, so he was very poor and alone. One day, he was begging for food. Dick heard two villagers talking. "The streets of London are paved with gold," said one to the other. Dick decided to go to London. "If the streets are paved with gold, I will make my fortune there," he thought. Dick travelled for many days until he reached London. However, the streets of London weren't paved with gold. Everything was noisy, dirty, and smelly, and there was no work anywhere. Dick was very tired and hungry. He rested on the doorstep of a grand house. He woke up to find a grumpy cook staring at him. "Be off with you," she cried. "We'll have no tramps here." "Wait," said a kindly voice. It was the master of the house. "What's the matter, boy?" Dick told the master that he was looking for work and had no food and was very poor. The man, whose name was Mr. Fitzwarren, gave Dick a job, working in his kitchen. Dick was very happy and decided to work as hard as he could. Mr. Fitzwarren's daughter Alice took pity on him and gave him scraps of fine food from her meals. However, life was still very hard for Dick. The cook treated him badly and made him do all the hard work. His little room in the loft of the house was filled with rats and mice, which scampered over his bed at night, so he could never get a tiny bit of sleep. Early one morning, in the alley outside the house, Dick saw a cold, thin, and hungry-looking kitten. Taking pity on it, he gave her some of his food. The kitten purred and jumped into his arms. From that moment, the kitten followed Dick everywhere. She grew up to be a sleek and elegant cat. Every night, the cat would come up to Dick's room and chase away all the rats and mice. Mr. Fitzwarren was a rich merchant who sent ships across the sea to far-off the lands. The ships were full of things to sell, and when they returned, they were always full of gold. Everyone had anything and everything to sell except Dick. Dick had nothing to put on the ship. "Why not put your cat on board?" said Alice to Dick. "Someone will want to buy her." Dick was sad to see his cat go, but he put her on board Mr. Fitzwarren's ship before it sailed away. From that day on, Dick was lonelier than ever. The cook treated him even worse than before, and now there was no cat to keep away the rats and mice. One day, Dick could stand no longer. He gathered up his few belongings and decided to return to the village where he was born. At least it didn't smell so bad. London is too hard a place for me, he thought sadly, as he crossed the hills that led away from the city. Just then, the bells of the great church at Bow began to peal. Dick stopped. Turn again, Whittington. Lord Mayor of London, they seemed to be saying. Could I really be Lord Mayor one day? Said Dick, turning back towards the city. Then I will stay in London. He ran back down the hill and was back at Mr. Fitzwarren's house before anyone even knew he had ever left. Meanwhile, Dick's little cat was traveling across the sea in the big ship. The ship was filled with rats and mice that nibbled at all the food in the ship. The cat guarded the food so the rats and mice could not get to it. The crew fed her well in thanks. That cat is the best mouser we've ever seen, they said. Months passed and the ship crossed the waves and reached far off land. When the crew sat to eat with the Queen, hundreds of rats dashed out of the holes, scammed into the table, and ate all the food. I wish there was something that would stop these creatures, said the Queen. One of the crew remembered Dick's cat, who was asleep on board the ship. He fetched the cat and brought it to the Queen. As soon as the cat saw the rats, it leaped into the table and chased them all away. The rats were so terrified that they hurried out of the palace and never came back. The Queen was delighted. I will give the owner of this cat 1,000 pieces of gold, she said. She then gave the cat a collar made of solid gold and returned it to the ship. When the ship slid back to London, Mr. Fitzwarren took the chest of gold to Dick, who was scrubbing the floors in the kitchen. Dick, said Mr. Fitzwarren, your cat has come back, and she's earned you more money than I have ever seen. Dick couldn't believe his eyes. With the chest of gold, he was suddenly the richest man in London. He generously gave gold pieces to all the people who had helped him while he was poor. He even gave some to Cook, who stopped being quite so grumpy. Now Dick was rich. He bought the finest house in London and eventually married Alice, who had become so kind to him while he was poor. The words of Bow Hills came true too well. Dick Whittington became prospect merchant, and when he was older, he became Lord Mayor of London. However, he never forgot that it was all thanks to his little cat. How about we have a quick break and we get back soon.
Page 59. Buttercups get their name from their bright buttery yellow color and the cup shape that the young flowers have. They flower in early midsummer. and are common in wildflower meadows, pastures, and roadside verges. They grow about 12 inches in height. An old child's game was to hold a buttercup under your chin. If the yellow color was reflected on your skin, you liked butter. Strangely, cows do not eat buttercups because of their acrid taste, so farmers look on them as weeds. They can quickly take over an area because they spread so rapidly and grow faster than other flowers, so they get the lion's share of the light.
That was it for today's tale, girls and boys. How about you join me same time next time on a new tale on Fairy Tales.